Welcome in everyone. Welcome.
Here comes the money.
Today's topic is free PLC software, which you can use even if you don't have expensive hardware. You can use it to program an Arduino in ladder logic, and maybe there's some other language as well. I'm not fully sure. Free control panels, no drawings. They want the same exact panel, just modernized from 2001. Wow. Customers are crazy, ain't they? You get some crazy customers. Not so well. Not doing so well. How come, bearded fellow? What's up, mate? Happy Halloween, everyone.
Here comes the money.
Ruby, thank you for all the coins. I really appreciate that. Rainbows, ice cream cones, more rainbows, 74 rainbows. Thank you, really appreciate that. Welcome in, everyone. So at the minute I've just got a little blinking light. There's not much going on. It's just a flashing timer. Flashing circuit, I guess you would say. Welcome in, everyone. Can you all see that okay? I think you can. Yeah, we're all good. So the software is, if I type it in, then the mods can pin it. There we go. Pin that. So the software is called OpenPLC. It's totally free. Doesn't cost you a penny. It enables you to basically write PLC programs for Arduinos, which you might think to yourself, why would I want to do that? Well, PLCs are incredibly expensive. Really expensive. So this is a way for you to practice PLC programming without going crazy and breaking the bank. So we're going to explore it today. You're an electrician in a steel mill. You use Siemens PLC a lot here. Yeah, Siemens PLCs are like probably the most popular. It's a toss-up between them and Rockwell. Rockwell's really big in America. Siemens is really big in Europe, but I think they're both you know, both very popular. So at the minute I've just got a blinking LED. I've got a little red LED on my breadboard blinking away, but I'm thinking we can do something a little bit cooler than that. That's about as basic as it gets. Ah, okay, so you're in the States and you've got Siemens. Yeah, I mean, I guess if your machinery is from Europe, then that makes sense. Siemens is good stuff. It is good stuff. But I know Alan Bradley dominates over there. All the Rockwell stuff. Whereabouts are you based, Fig? Alan Bradley is over here. It's still pretty big in the UK. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Okay, let's get started, I think. So, you can see that okay. What I need to do first before I do anything is map my I/O. I'm not... I've only got one output sorted. I have 3 LEDs on my board, but the first one, for whatever reason, just isn't working. I don't know if it's something up with my my Uno. Oh, west of Scotland. Oh, okay. I think that's managed by Rockwell. Oh, okay. Yeah. What sort of industry do you work in, Fig? I mean, in the water industry, in like, I don't know if you do any work with hydro turbines. There's a lot of Alan Bradley on them. Okay, let's map some I/O. I need to remember how to do this. I haven't used this software in a minute. There we go. So let's call that one. That's red LED. If I could spell. This one's going to be yellow. And like I say, the green isn't working for some reason. And yellow. Interesting. Black should be 12. I think black's my my 3. So that's actually red. Oh. Let's call it red 1. Oh, overhead cranes. Oh, okay. Would they be safety PLCs and that sort of thing then on the you know, on the cranes? You want to learn to program servos. I don't have any servos, mate. Else I would try and show you, but I just don't have anything. Let me squeeze that down. We can see a bit more. Right, so there's 2 outputs. I can't use my third, like I said. And we've got a green button. Oh, let's call it BTN first. Button green. And button red. And they're actually... 1 second. I need to bring up the OpenPLC pinouts. I can't remember what I think the inputs are just IX. Ah, the VFD's over the brains. Okay. So the VFD got safety features in it then? Is it like is it a special kind or is it just standard? I've never worked with cranes or anything like that, so I'm not sure what goes in them. Oh, thank you, Kay. I'm just going to put a little circuit together. I'm just sorting my I/O out of the second. IX000. Percent IX 0.0. Oh. Why is that not working? There we go. Number lock wasn't on. That's 2. Have I got a 2? I've got a 2. I've got a 3. And I have a... Oh yeah, just 2 and a 3. Okay. So that should be that. And then... IX 0.1. Right, okay. How are we all doing tonight? Has anyone been out trick-or-treating? Happy Halloween, by the way. I went out trick-or-treating earlier and got absolutely soaked. The rain really came down. Okay, so well, there's our I/O setup. We haven't really got anything else. Like I say, there is a third LED, but it just isn't working. So let's start off with just a basic start and stop. Happy Halloween, Rodney. In trade school right now, PLC is next quarter right now, doing motor control, still struggling with schematics. I don't know if you've seen any of my previous lives, but give Simu Relay a download. It's an app on the Microsoft Store, or you can get it on your phone for Apple Store and Google Play Store. It's called SIMU Relay, and it allows you to build little circuits, simulate them, and that sort of thing. Done that. Thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it lets you build circuits, simulate them, and it will allow you to get it in your head how circuits work and schematics and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's pretty good. I've done it. I've done a few live streams on Simu Relay now. Okay, so this, let's say button green. I'm still trying to remember how to use this software. I've not used it in a good while. There we go. Button green. Let's bring in another. Let's negate that. Button red. Standard circuit. Nothing crazy. We'll build from there. Let's have that going to... Let's make a variable without any physical addressing. So, not LEDs. Right, let's bin that off. You guys can see that, yeah, I think. Yeah, you can. Let's just call this latch. What are we making today? I haven't really got a plan of what we're making, but I'm showing this software which is called OpenPLC. Totally free, and it basically allows you to program a microcontroller in ladder logic. So if you don't have a PLC, or you can't afford one because they are very expensive, this software will allow you to practice your programming. Been working with the S7 1500 PLCs this week at work mainly. Nice, John. Yeah, the 1500s are a serious controller. Yeah, they're a really good PLC. I've not had a massive amount of experience with them, but I am aware that they are pretty powerful. So this can be latch. And I assume I can just put that on there. I think so. Let's see. Let's generate the code for that. Just want to see if this works. Like I say, I've not used this software in a long time. Let's put this over here. Uno project. Yeah, let's call it that. Has anyone used OpenPLC before? John, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. And Sciatex Steel, I think. Thank you for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. Oh, Toomby, you have. Yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't used it crazy amounts, but I've made a couple of videos on it, and it just kind of works. So this is me now programming it. Programming this microcontroller here. And presuming, yeah, it says all done, so that's good. So once you've programmed it, you can then put it into live debug mode. Tell it what port you're on. So I'm just on the USB port. It's slave ID 1. Because that's what I set. You can set whatever you want. No, only Uno for Uno. You have it on Mac. Ah, okay. PLC or Delta V? I've never used Delta V. Is that Emerson? I think that's Emerson, if I'm not mistaken. Their DCS software. Yeah. So the PC, the computer that I'm working on, is the master, and the Arduino Uno is the slave. Yeah, Emerson. Yeah. I've never used Delta V. No, I don't really do DCS stuff. What's it like? How do you find it? Okay, so now we can do that. I've not tried my buttons yet, so I don't know if they're working. Okay, they are working. The only problem is, which I can easily change, is when I press my green button, you can see the red buttons activating. And when I press my red button, you can see the green buttons activating. So the easiest way to do that is just swap the caps. They're just little plastic caps on the top of the switches. So if I swap that, then I don't need to change the software. Good enough, but oh, you don't program it. Oh, okay, mate. Yeah. What sort of work do you do? Toomby? I think I'm saying your name right. Let me know if I'm not. Okay, green, red, green, red. We've got a latch going on. Okay, so let's program an output then. When that latch comes on, let's say turn the red lamp on, or red LED, since we're not working with actual lamps and stuff. Ah, nice. Yeah, calibration technician. You work with all the sensors and that sort of thing then. Biotech, right. Cool stuff, mate, cool stuff. Let's close this down. Let's bring another coil in. Let's call that one red LED. And I believe we can just, no, maybe not. Maybe I have to bring it over here, yeah. Bring that one there. In fact, let's not take it there, let's take it there. Could you not have swapped the addressing location? I could have, yeah, I could have, Justin, but it would have meant reprogramming it. So the easiest way is just swap the colours over on the buttons. I could have just swapped those two over up there. You see that? I could have made, in fact, it's not the LED, it's the buttons. I could have made the green button 0.1 and the red button 0.0. But it would have meant reprogramming it and stuff, and it's just easier to swap the caps. Error. Why am I getting errors? Because I pressed the wrong button, that's why. Let me just quickly save that. When I get an error, this is what I found, I can't program it anymore, so I have to close the software down, reopen it. So I wouldn't say it's without its flaws is this software. 1 second. Let me start this back up. Why is the green button before the red button? There's no real reason. Oh, in the circuit you mean? Hang on, let me bring it back up and I'll go through it with you. OpenPLC, blink. That's what it's called itself. Let me just sort the sides out. I'll bring it back in a second, one sec. That one that way, that one that way. You should now be able to see it. M. Allen, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that, mate. The reason why I know if you go to like school and you learn PLCs, a lot of the time they're going to teach you to put the normally closed in at the front. I've never liked that. It's just something I don't like. I like to see how far the logic gets before it gets blocked, rather than it just gets blocked and you never see, you know, what's going on further down. Sorry, probably been asked, what software is this? This is called OpenPLC, mate. It's a free software for programming microcontrollers. Okay, so let me just quickly chuck that in and I can show you the red lamp flashing. That all looks right. There's the I/O. There's the communication setup. And you only need to set this if you want to view the program live. It basically adds in like a Modbus driver, I guess, into the Arduino. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, the reason why I put the button red after is just because I like to see how far the logic gets before, you know, before whatever your not shut. I guess shutdown is not quite the right word, but that's how I think about it in my head. Is like my triggers for the logic. I get to see how far they get before they get shut down or you know, cancelled or whatever. Hopefully that makes sense. It probably doesn't. Sam M's, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Spanners, thank you for the follow too. OpenPLC is a copy of Beremiz. I think it does say something like that on the website. They say it's built on Beremiz or something. In fact, I've got the website up. I did see that the other day. I don't know what Beremiz is. Yeah, it's a programmable logic controller suite based on Beremiz IDE. I'm not aware of what Beremiz is, to be fair. Ah, good. Thank you, Spanners. Thanks for letting me know that, mate. Okay, so let's live debug now. And again, I just got to tell it what port I'm on, what the slave ID is, because it basically talks over Modbus. It puts like a Modbus driver into the Arduino, and then the PC and the Arduino talk over Modbus. Can you guys see that? Okay, I need to just bring that over a little bit, I think. You can just about see the coils. Okay, so if I bring this up here, if I press the green button, we should get the red LED on, which we're not. That's interesting, because I had the red LED flashing earlier. I'm getting the LED on the Arduino on. Don't know if you can see that. That's coming on. On, off. Oh. But my actual output isn't. I wonder if I've got a... That's the thing when you're working with breadboards and stuff. You get a loose wire or something like that, it just won't come on. Can you hook me up with some free software? Yeah, I can hook you up with something called OpenPLC, mate. Totally free. There you go. That's what we're using at the minute. Yeah, LED on the Uno was flashing, but the actual red LED I've had that working, so I'm not sure why it isn't now. Anyway. Yeah, go to, just Google OpenPLC and it'll come up, mate. Who OpenPLC is compatible with any PLC? I'm honestly not sure if you can program any PLC with it. Other than an Arduino Opta, you can program that. But in terms of properly, you know, proper PLCs, I'm not too sure, to be fair, mate. The reason I'm showing it and the reason I talk about it is because A, it's free, and B, one of these microcontrollers is like less than $3 from AliExpress. So it's a great starting point. If you don't have a PLC and you want to get into it, you want to practice programming and learn about PLCs, it's a great way to do it. CodeSys is free too. It is, you're right. CodeSys, you don't get any hardware unless you've got like a CodeSys compatible PLC. But even, you know, they're quite expensive. So you can have CodeSys and no hardware, or you can get a little microcontroller and use OpenPLC. Radio Spare has a free software to learn basic ladder. I've heard about the RS modules. I have heard about them. What we're making, I prefer block, but ladder works. I'm basically showing John OpenPLC with programming in Arduino, like as a low cost alternative to having a PLC. I don't know what other languages this thing does. I'm not entirely sure if it does other languages. I don't know enough about it. That's the problem. Let's see if we can get another. I feel like I did get another language in this. I feel like I did. I don't really know enough. Function block, program. Let's add another program. Language. Ah, there we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. So you can, in this software, you can program in instruction list, structured text, ladder, function block diagram, or sequential function chart. So you can do any of the 5 IEC languages. Can you read ADC on Arduino with it? You can, mate. Yes, I have done that because I do also have a Arduino Mega, and some of the pins for the Mega are analog. So rather than have a contact that's just on or off like you see here, you have to basically do a comparison. If it's 0, then it's off, it's false. If it's 65,000, you know, whatever the 2 to the 16 number is, then it's on, it's true. No graph set, I guess you're talking about. It doesn't appear to be, mate, no. But that's not an IEC 61131 language anyway, so that's probably why. How many standard analog inputs could we get on the Uno? Good question, mate. There's a few. They've got like little squiggly lines next to the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, in fact, no, I'm wrong there. I'm wrong, because the squiggly line means it's a PWM output capable pin. Actually, on this board here, I've got 6, A0 through A5. So we could let's have a look at function block. I've not used it. I don't really know how it works, but let's have a go. Create a new block. What was that going to give me? I've got an SR, RS. So we've got latches, rising trigger, falling trigger. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see that. SR, RS. I'm not sure what a SEMA is. Rising trigger, falling trigger, count up with a dint, count up with a lint, count up with a U-dint, count down, count up, down. What's timer pulse, I think, is a TP. Timer on, timer off. It looks like you get all sorts of functions. It's obviously compatible, you know, it's IEC 61131 compatible. Obviously there's a load of like blocks for Arduino specific stuff. I've not played with any of this. I'm learning this just like you are, I guess. Excuse me. TCP, so you can maybe do some Ethernet like networking. Maybe it's Modbus, I'm not sure. I guess download it and have a read of the documentation and what these parts do. MQTT. I don't know the software enough to be able to like teach you really what this software does in and out. The software is called OpenPLC, mate. OpenPLC. Are they extendable? Well, you can get shields for the Arduinos, can't you? So I'm assuming you can use some shields in this software. Some time stuff. Add in numerical cosine. You can do all sorts. Yeah, it almost seems like a real, you know, like a proper PLC. You can make your own function blocks. That's important. That's really important, I find. the one thing I would suggest to anyone who wants to get into PLC programming is start off, not start off, like get your foundations built like down first, understand the basics, but get yourself in a good habit early on for for creating function blocks which are reusable. And when you come to do this for work as a job, then it's going to save you so much time. If you start slowly building up this library of reusable blocks, you find a lot of software. I try and find software that's free, that's otherwise stupidly expensive, like the Siemens software, the Rockwell software. All of them is crazy expensive. I try and find free or very cheap alternatives to show people, because not everyone's got money. Like trying to get into this game, when I was quite young, still an apprentice, wanting to get a PLC and wanting to learn this stuff at home, it's too expensive. I didn't have the money for that sort of thing. So what I try and do is help other people, find ways of doing that. Yeah, exactly, John. The Rockwell stuff's crazy. I know the Siemens basic software, the TIA Portal Basic, that's not too bad. I think it's a couple £100 or dollars or euros. But the advanced one, which I think you need for the S1500s, you're talking thousands and thousands of pounds, euros or dollars. Shock Me Harder, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Can you recommend a simulator that doesn't cost £900 a month? In what way, mate? What do you mean by simulator? Do you just mean like to run the program and basically simulate your logic? Is that what you're saying? RS Logic MicroStarter Lite is free if you wanted a bit of Rockwell experience. I think also, I could be wrong about this, but I think Connected Component Workbench is free. If that's wrong, let me know. And that's for a particular range of Allen Bradley PLCs. Factory I/O is great. So unless I'm mistaken, Factory I/O is crazy expensive too. I don't have Factory I/O. I would love it, but the last time I looked, which to be fair was years ago, it was crazy expensive.
Here comes the money.
Design and run logic sim. Okay, thank you for the gift. The heart me, the Thunder Hammer. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the follows, the gifts, the shares, the likes. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Logosoft is free-ish. Yeah, Logosoft, I don't remember paying for that, but maybe we did. And if we did, it was very cheap. I can't remember. Design and run logic sims. Like PLC, I mean, you just download Codesys, mate. Codesys has simulator built in. Download OpenPLC, and as long as you've got a cheap microcontroller, you can simulate your logic. You can find it. Oh, PLC 24/7. Yeah. I've not gone down that route. It might be worth something looking into, but I don't recommend anyone pirate any software. It's bad. It's like 160 New Zealand dollars, but Siemens usually... Is that New Zealand dollars? But Siemens usually just bundle it with a logo if you ask them. Yeah, I feel like... I don't remember. We've got the software and we use logos every so often, but... I don't know if we paid for it or not. Oh, you can design a CPU and run it. I don't know about that. Hack TIV. I'm not sure, buddy. I don't really do stuff with CPUs and that sort of thing. Anyway, that was POUs and the different types of languages you can use. I'll stick with ladder for now. You pirate as a student, you pay as a pro. You do you, buddy. I'm not gonna condone it, and I'm not gonna say you're a bad person for it, because you got to do what you got to do if you want to get into the game. I guess half my reason for showing software like this is to try and steer you away from that, but you do you, mate. I'm not gonna judge. You do much with PLCs themselves, i.e. all the IOs. Only ever dealt with Allen Bradley and Siemens. Yeah, so I tend to use Mitsubishi PLCs most of the time, but we do use a lot of Schneider PLCs too. And more recently, we're using them more and more. Maybe even over the Mitsubishi, because the Mitsubishi PLCs are pretty expensive. Anyway, let me get back to this. Your brother tried to get you into PLC programming. Is it worth it? I'd say 100% yes. I would say it's definitely something worth getting into. A lot of money can be made in it. It's definitely worth dipping your toe in, because you might find you really enjoy it. That's what I found. So, yeah, the red LED for whatever reason didn't work. But let's carry on. Let's do, I don't know. What shall we program? So I can see on the sidebar, you guys probably can't see that, but I can pull in functions by the looks of it. Oh, so I can, yeah, it's a bit like a combination of ladder and function block programming. So I can, if I wanted to, do some counting. Let's do some counting. Let's do a counter up, down. Let's bring that in. You guys can see that, okay, yeah. Let's bin this off. We don't need that. That was just to see some stuff working. So counter up. Let's pull in a contact. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for letting everyone know. As well as you, Toomby. Green button. Let's do green button counts up. That doesn't look great, but whatever. We'll leave it. No, in fact, it'll play my mind if it's not all nice and straight. Red button counts down. It's gonna look messy anyway. There's no real way around it. Those pins are too close together to get the contacts like nice and evenly spaced. It is what it is. We'll work with it. Maybe I'll do something like that. How are we all doing tonight? Did anyone go trick-or-treating tonight? Do you do that in your country, with it being Halloween? Have you ever programmed Siemens Cyprotect? I haven't, mate, no. I don't do a great deal with Siemens, if I'm honest. How about Kinko brand? The Kinko Builder software is free for them. Is that the Chinese PLCs? Or, I think they're Chinese. Or maybe they're Japanese, I'm not sure. I have heard of them. I've not ever seen them in the field, though. Do you use Schneider Electric Eco Structure Control Expert? Excuse me. Can't seem to get on with it. I have used it a few times. I tend to use most of the PLCs that use Machine Expert. Oh, it's just Machine Expert. Yeah, not Control Expert. So a lot of the PLCs, the M241, M251, they use Machine Expert. I think the 262 is it as well. And I've used quite a lot of M221s, which is Machine Expert Basic. Max, thank you for the follow. Yoba, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, if everyone double taps the screen, that'll be really good. Also, if you hold in your screen, it'll come up with a little box, and there'll be a little button that says repost. If you could do that, I'd be greatly appreciated. They are Chinese, yeah. I've not used them myself, mate. No, I haven't, if I'm honest. You mainly use M580s. Yeah, that's the Control Expert ones, isn't it? We used one not so long ago because we needed it to be hot standby, like a dual redundant PLC. We used one on a project recently. I didn't get too heavily involved with that, but I'm sort of vaguely aware of it. What program is this? This is called OpenPLC, mate. Oh, thank you, Katie. Yeah. Yeah, Katie's. I'll pin her comment. Look at the pin comment for the software. So let me go back to this then. PV. I need a variable for PV, I guess. Unless I can... Yeah, no, I think I need a variable. So this variable is this one here. Let's just bin that off. We don't want... We want it to be an int, I would guess. We'll call this counter PV. Software isn't working. Show us where you got it. I got it from this website right here because I've got it open. Hopefully you can see that. I believe that is the official place to get it from. If you Google OpenPLC, you should come up with that page. What language am I using? I'm using ladder logic, but apparently in this software you can pull in function blocks too, so that's pretty good. I do like that. What are you programming tonight? I'm just kind of showing the software off. I haven't really got anything specific in mind, Niels. I'm just about to put a counter in. I'm just going to see how they work. I haven't used this software that much myself, to be fair. So rather than teach you how to use the software or anything, I'm kind of going along with it with you guys. Mine is crashing. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't have a solution for you, Henry. It kind of just works for me, unfortunately. For you, I guess. Kamira, thank you for the follow. Jamie King, thank you for the follow. Professor Kaivo? Professor... Oh, Tracy. Sorry. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Is ladder logic similar to assembly code to any extent? It isn't, mate. No, it's very different. Assembly is all ones and zeros and that sort of thing, and ladder logic's a graphical language. So I've got my buttons in. I need to put my PV counter in. How do I do that on here? Variable, I would assume, and I want it to be counter PV. I would also assume. Like I say, guys, I've not really used this software that much myself. The load, I would think the load LD is where it starts to count from. If I leave it blank, hopefully it starts at 0. I don't actually know that though. So there's that. I wonder if that will run just like that, without any reset, without any load, without anything on the outputs. I probably want a variable for the CV, which is be the counter value. So let's call this counter CV. Or current value. I don't know what the actual... I call it count value. It's probably current value. And I want another variable, I guess. This time it will be an output. And it will be counter CV. And there we go. Looks good to me. CDT. So if you hover over, it will tell you what actually it is. So let's just see what it says for CV. In fact, it doesn't. It says the same thing for all of them. Never mind. How often do you make programming live streams? I try and do it on a weekend, mostly. I'll maybe jump on through the week, rarely. But I try and do it on a Friday and a Saturday. Control voltage. Did I miss something there? Pedro, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. CV is control voltage. No, I don't think that's right, mate. I don't think CV is control voltage. Because that would make no sense in the... that'd make no sense with a counter. It's either current value or count value. That's what I would think. Current value, yeah, I think that. Most softwares would tell you if you hovered over it. This one obviously doesn't, but... so let's try and send that. See if it will compile. Doesn't look like it. Oh, no. Oh, fuck's sake. As soon as you get the error, if you get the error, you can't program anymore, which is a bit of a pain. I feel like it's a bug or something. And I think I got the error. Well, I'm not entirely sure why I got the error, but I do get it every so often. So let me just save that. I will just put that screen on for a second, close this down, and reopen it. I have found this a couple of times tonight, that it keeps crashing on me, and it doesn't let me program after that. So I have to reopen it, essentially. So let me bring you back. There we go. So maybe I should have compiled it before trying to send it. There'll be little quirks to this that I haven't got my head around yet. Fair, I know coming from this from a completely different side of tech, just trying to... No, I totally appreciate you trying to participate as well, Hacktive, I guess that's your name, isn't it? No, I do appreciate it. I wasn't trying to shut you down there at all. Sorry about that. You had to compile Matiac software, part of OpenSea, to make it run on a Mac. Oh, okay. I don't use a Mac, to be fair. I've got a Windows 11 machine. Who was that? What did I miss? The engineer! Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Welcome back. I know your name's Kyle now, too. Hope you're good, buddy. Live goal achieved as well. Thank you for that, mate. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's see if we can get this to actually compile, because it wouldn't do it there. It's asking me to save it. Let me just save over what I had. Unfortunately, my camera is right in front of the screen where it's telling me whether it's. It looks like it's done it to me. It looks like it's done it. So let's try and transfer it. Good stuff. Good stuff. How's that test rig build coming along? So, did you just start that today, or are you going to start that today, rather, tonight? Right. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's give it a transfer. I'll pull it off screen because I have no idea what it shows. Whether it shows stuff that I'm not supposed to show, I don't know. Right, that's done. So now that's programmed in. Let's put it into live view. I probably should have pressed the other button first. Hang on a sec. Hopefully I don't make it crash again. Here we go. Right, so it's ID 1. That port, that board. So let's see if I press the green button. Are we getting anything? No. And usually this happens. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. Let me pull that across a little bit. Pull that across a little bit. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. So usually this happens when you haven't. Yeah, I think it's because I've got the preset value not set to anything. So you see it's not counting there at all. Right, let's go back. How do I stop this? Stop PLC. Come out of live view. And so like I say, I'm not used to this software, so how would I go around setting that? I think I probably want that. Shift that down some. Delete those lines off. Can I just do that? No, it has to go on a node. Okay. And what we can do is, let's have a look. What options we got? Create variable. So this would be an input variable of. No, would it? In out, maybe. That's what we need. I'm thinking that's what we need. Jolly, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that, mate. I think I have to set the PV before I can do anything with it. How I set it, I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking there should be a constant block or something. There isn't there. Like I said earlier, I don't know if any of you missed that, but I'm not used to this software whatsoever. Need to grab more din rail. Ah, fair enough, mate. Yeah. Got distracted by a live. I started it just being to grab some more din rail section. Ah, okay, mate. If you're going, yeah, I really appreciate you stopping by, buddy. So I'm looking for a way of setting a constant on here. And I'm not entirely sure how to do it at the moment. I probably have some other programs that I could look at. Let me save this. And I can look at. Does this test project have something on? So what were them blocks there? Ah, you just put it in expression. Ah, okay. Right, got it. Let's go back to Uno project. So I just need another variable here. And I just put in here, let's say 1,000. So then I can hook that up, I'm assuming. Will that work now? Let's fill in the other blocks too. Let's copy that, paste that across, load at 0. It's getting a bit messy. I don't like this. These blocks are a little bit too close together. Load 0. We don't need anything on the reset, I don't believe. Let's try and compile that. Save that. Overwrite. The Visio just crashed. Poor own out for me. I'm not sure what you're saying there, buddy. Is studying electrical engineering really hard, or is it doable if you study? It is difficult. There's no denying it's difficult. But it's not impossible. There's no, yeah, it's going to take a bit of dedication. It is going to be, you're going to have to do a lot of studying, mate. But it will be worth it, and it is definitely an enjoyable course to do. If you're like, I don't know, if you've got the mindset of you can do math reasonably well, you have like a logical and methodical mind, I think you'll enjoy it. You'll do well. It's hard and doable with study. Yeah, exactly. That's just basically what I was saying. Yeah. Did you have to install anything else with it? I didn't, Henry. No. I just literally downloaded it off the website. It started up. Yeah, I didn't have to do anything. John Murray, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Lenin, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. You can change the size of Countdown Zero drag a corner. Can you? You are right. Who said that? Toomby, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. That makes it way easier then. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was after, because I just felt like they were too close together. I mean, that's probably still going to have to go like that. Yeah, that's quite neat. That is really neat. I like that. I seem to have some sort of craziness going on there. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah, kind of. There we go. Pull that in. Yeah, so let me try that now. I'll recompile that again. I seen when you clicked on it, these things were there. I just didn't really realize it meant you could extend it and stuff. The Visio crashed and I lost a few hours of work. Microsoft Visio is that? Yeah, that's a nightmare, mate. Last week my PC at work, my workstation, I did an update, and obviously as part of the update it wanted to restart, but it wouldn't restart. It did the update, it shut down, and every time I tried to start it up, the light turned on, the fans came on, and then it shut down. And it kept doing that. And I had like, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 weeks worth of work just locally on my C drive that I hadn't uploaded to like the company network. I was stressing. I was really stressing. Because that could have been real bad. Anyway, it turned out that I had a faulty power supply. And we had another PC that wasn't being used, of the same make, same brand, same everything. I think it was bought at the same time. And I whipped the power supply out of that, put it in my one, and it all fired up and worked. And believe me, there's never been a bigger, like, whew, in the world, because I was stressing about that. Works now. Oh, good, Henry. I'm glad to hear it, mate. The Mario, thank you for the follow, buddy. You've been commissioning fire alarms for years. Bet this doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't mind adding that. Yeah, well, this software's free, Love Chunk. It's called OpenPLC. You can download it. You don't need any crazy expensive hardware. I'm using an Arduino Uno. And basically I can program this Arduino Uno with ladder logic and use it as a PLC. It's a great way to get into it, get started. There is also the option of Codesys. You don't need any hardware then. Yeah, have a play, mate. See what you think. See if you think it's worth pursuing. Bet you saved after that. I did, mate. I had I have a 1 terabyte USB SSD, and as soon as I got that PC up and running, I was straight on it, putting everything I could on it. That was a bad day. Well, it was a good day when I got it solved, but I think it happened on like a Thursday evening. It was like 4 o'clock on Thursday, so I lost like the rest of the day trying to sort it out. It wasn't until the next morning that I thought to change the power supply out, and yeah, I was so relieved. I was stressing all Thursday night. Is it just me, but the sound isn't matching your lips when you're talking tonight, mate? Is that right? Hello. I don't know why the reason that is. Could be my camera, possibly. I'm not sure. Is there any settings I could do? Let's turn that off. Not sure what that is. Is there anything else I can change that might fix that? What's going on with this? I'm just messing with settings now. I will get back to that, I promise. Signal processing. Let's try this. Raw audio, so there's no processing. Hopefully that sounds better. I think it's the phone, to be honest. I think it's the phone. Has that changed the sound now? It's like one of those Chinese dub films. I am the master, not you. What are you making? I was doing a counter, mate, but we're having, by the sounds of it, we're having... Can we have subtitles? I put subtitles on my videos because of my bloody accent. Looks okay now, I think. All fine. God. Oh, God. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that, should I? That was embarrassing. Yeah. Hopefully we're good now. Hello, mate. What software is this? Oh, are you doing traffic lights? I'm not doing traffic lights, mate. This is... I was just putting a counter together. It's called OpenPLC. Emmanuel, thank you for following. Where are you from? From the UK, mate. England. North Yorkshire, specifically. Right, so let me... I can't even remember if I compiled now. Let's compile it, see if it will run. Looks like it. Let's give it a go. I think I might even already programmed it. I can't remember. Thank you to everyone who's liking the live. Thank you to everyone who's sharing the live. And thank you to everyone who's gifting. I really, really appreciate it. Right, that's done. Let's put it into debug mode. Let's turn the glasses on. You guys probably can't see the glasses. It's very much like a logo. If anyone's used a Siemens logo, it has like the little glasses to look in live view. Or is it S7 1200s that do that? I can't remember, but I press that. Hopefully now. Still, oh, it is counting. There we go. Right, okay. We're winning now. We're winning. I did just need to set the preset value. So you guys can see that, yeah? So as I press the green button, you can probably hear it every click. It's going up. When I press the red button, every click, it's going down. I mean, you can use counters for... The uses are limitless almost for counters. But this is a count up, count down. CTUD, count up, down. There we go. Can you simulate before to test? I don't think you can. I don't think you can, mate. I think you have to have some form of hardware. It's not like a proper PLC software, so yeah, it obviously doesn't have that. It needs some hardware to run on. Yeah. Oh, you can do it. I didn't know that. Oh, you can also. Sorry, I thought you was asking me. I didn't know that. So let me stop this. Where would I find that then? If I wanted to simulate. Toomby, you sound like the master. I should get you on. Barak, I think your name is. Thank you. Really appreciate that, mate. 2 finger hearts. Thank you, buddy. Really, really appreciate that. What hardware do you need? You can use a number of different microcontrollers. I just so happen to have an Arduino Uno here, but I have used it on a Mega as well. João Costa, I think. Thank you for sharing, mate. I really, really appreciate that. OpenPLC as a virtual runtime. Yeah, you guys are teaching me, because like I said, I haven't used this software enough to know all the ins and outs of it. I just wanted to bring it to people's attention who want to get into PLC programming, but maybe can't afford a proper PLC. That's the angle I'm coming at this from. And Neo, thank you for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Kevin Pennock, thank you for the follow. Is that the Kevin Pennock I know? Is that? I wonder if it is. What hardware do you need? I already answered that, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realise you were saying I can. I thought you were saying, can you? CKEV Go 1, thank you for the follow. Levi Gross, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so where would I find that then? Talk to me, Toonby. How would I do that? What are you making? I'm just kind of showing off software, mate. I'm showing off a free PLC software which you can use to program Arduinos with. I'm a maintenance tech now. I really move, I guess you really want to move up to controls tech. Want to learn more about PLC. Yeah, I mean, I've got tons of videos on ways to get started, buddy. I've never used Open PLC, just seen MQTT in the library when you clicked. You did, buddy, you did. If I pull this in over here, hopefully you can see that. I don't know how well you can see that, but MQTT is there, and it has a number of functions. So you could probably, maybe even take some stuff up to like a dashboard or something like that, I guess. You would need, I guess you would need the hardware. So this Arduino, obviously, it doesn't have an Ethernet port or Wi-Fi. So you'd probably need like an ESP32, which has Wi-Fi on it. User and a load of numbers. Thank you. Really appreciate the follow, mate. Crick Kevin, thank you for the follow. Windows IDK on OSK. It is in application. It's like another application. You just need to run it in the background or something. Appreciate that, Toonby. Thank you, mate. Really, really appreciate it. For now, I'll just stick with programming this since I've got it here. But that's worth knowing. I'll have a play with that off stream, I think. Right, I think I've caught up. Jay Scott, thank you for the follow. Yomi, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Yeah, looks good. I can run it to AWS and communicate with a logo, etc. I don't know if you're asking me there or you're just saying, but yeah, have fun, mate. It sounds like that sort of thing sounds way over my head. I don't do dashboarding and stuff like that. I should probably look into it more. Once upon a time, I had a little thing for trying to learn Raspberry Pis and that sort of thing, and I had some Node-RED stuff going in that, which was quite. It was different. It was different. I'm not used to Node-RED. What is the best platform to learn PLC? I would say if you want to learn, download Codesys. Totally free. It's a proper PLC software. You can program actual PLCs with it. And the license, like the runtime, I don't know how long it is, maybe an hour or two or something, but you would never need to simulate longer than that to practice, so give that a go. If you want to know the best actual PLC to learn programming, it's probably debatable, but I would say Siemens, just because they're so popular. Siemens is all over the world, but the softwares are really expensive, so there's the downside to that. I've got no requirements in my head. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool, mate. I do need to look into stuff like that myself, but without having, like... I'm the kind of person, I need to have a project idea in mind. I need to have a clear goal. If I don't have that, then I'm just bumbling about. I lose interest. I need a goal in mind. I guess you have to download the software, or can you just use it on the web? No, you do have to download it, yeah. I don't think... No, it doesn't look like there's any sort of online editor. It's yeah, it's a download to your PC. Enjoy seeing people program. Always fun to see how others think. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really done much here, to be fair, mate. It's just a counter, but I agree. I do like to see other people's programs and stuff too, because a lot of people do things in different ways. Some do it pretty badly, and some people, you see something, you're like, wow, that is a clever way of doing that. And then, you know, you pick that up yourself and start using it yourself. Poopy AS31, thank you for the follow. Can you explain Codesys? Do you compile PLC binary then import them into the actual PLC? So I haven't programmed a PLC in Codesys because there's only a select few PLCs that I believe can accept CodeSys. But I know Schneider M241 PLCs. So Machine Expert, the software for Schneider, a certain type of Schneider PLCs, runs on CodeSys. It's CodeSys in the background. They've just like kind of reskinned a few things. That just works. It just in the same way as any PLC. You just you know, hit compile, make sure it compiles, hit download, and you're away you go. I imagine it's very much the same in just, you know, the vanilla flavor of CodeSys. I imagine it's just the same sort of thing. Can you explain what bit and bool mean? Up here you can probably see a bit and a bool is very much the same thing. It's a 1 or a 0. So these are called data types. Bools are stuff like this. So this would be a bool. It's either off or it's on. There's no in between. Off or on. These here, these are called, well, these I've set these to int, which is an integer, which is a value between, it depends on how big the register size is, but in most cases it's 16-bit. Else you'd have like an int 32. I wonder if this has int 32s. Well, it has dints and lints. So a dint is a double integer, a lint is a long integer. So this one here is an int, and an int is from 0 to 2 to the power of 16, which I think is 65,000 and something. And this is a variable, you know, this is variable. There's 65,000, you know, permutations of what it could be, whereas this, there's only 2, is off or on. Dint is 32, yeah, that's right, and I think a lint is 64. Hopefully that helps. You probably saw there's an absolute stack of different data types. Real, so an integer doesn't have a decimal point. It's whole numbers only. A real can have decimal points, so it could be 7.3 or 35.2. This integer can only be 1,000, can only be or 1,001 or 1,002, but it can never be 1,000.5. 65535. Thank you, Toonby. Yeah, I don't remember the number ever. If you ever want to know what the most, you know, the most is, I just put 2 to the 16 in my calculator. Yeah, hopefully that helped. I missed a few follows there. Jean-Paul, I guess. Thank you for the follow. Peter, thank you for the follow. Electro Jotta, thank you for the follow. Garrett, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. A bit is stored as memory within a word. It can be. Well, I guess internally it probably is. That's probably how it is done. But as a data type, a bool is just a 0 or 1. There is no word or anything. Sai, I think it's Sai. Thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. CodeSys is free and can run on your PC. You're right, it can, mate. And it's totally a valid software to choose if you want to learn PLC programming. The reason I'm showing this software, which is OpenPLC, is because it allows you to program very cheap microcontrollers. So I've got an Arduino Uno. It's actually a knockoff Arduino Uno. It's not an official one. I do have an official one. I have paid, you know, into the ecosystem, I guess. But the cheap Chinese ones work just as well for a fraction of the cost. Where can you go to learn Where can you go to learn it? Best training place. So there's a number of training places online. Udemy has a stack of people doing courses and that sort of thing. The ones I'd recommend are Paul Lin, so PLC Dojo. He has a website called PLC Dojo. I believe it might also be the name of his training course. Not 100% sure on that one, but his name's Paul Lin. He has a good course. Shane Welcher. I haven't done his course personally, but he did come into the live a few weeks ago. Let me know about his course. I had a look at him online. He has a YouTube channel as well as course. Yeah, it looks like good. It looks like a good course, so maybe try that. But also, I don't know if any of you guys watch Hegger Merle on YouTube. He has a YouTube with a load of free content on Siemens PLCs. Really, really good. He hadn't made a video for... Well, he'd basically been offline for 4 years until yesterday, I think. And or maybe the day before. And he did a live stream and basically said he's coming back. He's going to start making videos again. He's also got... I think he might have a course on Udemy now. I really recommend him. He has some great stuff on YouTube. AliExpress, yeah man, that's where I get it from. Cheap Arduino from AliExpress, you can't go wrong. Hi, thank you for the follow. Right, let me get back to this because I feel like I'm just reading comments all over. I have done a Paul In course. All his courses on Alan Bradley stuff, and I didn't know a great deal about it. Maybe 10 years ago, or something. Maybe not that long. Maybe 8. So I did a couple of his courses. They are good. Yeah, I do think they're good courses. And also, in one of the courses, he gives you a file for a virtual machine, which has all the course content on. It has the software on, everything you're going to need for the course. It was really well structured. He put in a lot of effort to do that, I think. What about someone who has basic knowledge in ladder logic but want to understand the computer side? In what way do you mean the computer side? The software, is it? Have a play of CodeSys, I would say. I just seen the little sign above my head. If anyone wants to join the, I think I've called it the PLC squad, just send a heart me through. You get access to little stickers and stuff in chat. Ignition by inductive automation is free for 2 hours. You only ever need to reset for free. Yeah, so I've heard a lot about ignition. I've not used it personally yet. That's probably the next thing I'm going to look at. Ignition, I believe, is that a HMI software? Yokogawa SCADA, you know? I don't know, mate. I don't know Yokogawa SCADAs. Hopefully I've not missed too much stuff there. Yeah, go for it, Si. Yeah, look into those sites. Best of luck, mate. It's going to require a bit of effort, but you'll get there, buddy. Kyle Brooks, thank you to follow. Keith, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. And they are really little. They're only little. I can hover over them, Katie, and they get much bigger, and I can understand what they're saying. I don't know what it's like on the phone, but I mean, you know, I'm not an artist. I've done my best there. I've made them by hand. So if you do join, if you do send a heart me and join the PLC squad, don't laugh. I tried hard on those. I'm an engineer, not an artist. Okay. Anyway, let me get back to this because I feel like I've not done anything for ages. There's a PID there. I don't really have the gear to be able to show a PID properly, but was it today? I put a story on TikTok of setting up a PID. I set up a PID today for a hydro turbine. I'm doing a job where I give it a set point. It needs to go to that set point, give the amount of kilowatt output that I tell it to, and I needed to simulate that for testing. So I put that together earlier. I've just seen it used for everything from local HMIs to redundant SCADA platforms. Interesting. Report even compatibility thing. Yeah, it does. It sounds good. It does sound good. I need to, I guess, look into that a bit more because as a free software, I feel like a lot of people seem to be interested in that. So that's something I'm trying to, you know, bring to people. Find the good softwares that are free, like this. This is pretty good, you know. If tons of people have Arduinos sat around not doing anything. If you want to get into PLC programming, it's a great tool to learn with. Is there a replay video for PID setting? I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean by that, Toombi? You dabble and have knowledge as electrical technician, wiring, etc., or just automation only? I mean, what? Yeah, what do you need to know about wiring? What is it you're wanting to see, I guess? How to read a value from analog input 4 to 20 milliamp? Well, this definitely wouldn't take a 4 to 20 milliamp. An Arduino is not set up for a 4 to 20 milliamp. The only analogs this can take is a 0 to 5 volt analog signal. It wouldn't take a 4 to 20. You were talking about PID and you did a setting. Ah, yeah, I didn't make a video of that. This was at work. I did do a short video showing the output. If you look, I think if you click, go on my profile and click my profile picture, I think it shows you the memories. You know, like the short videos that you don't post to the timeline. I guess I don't know how you explain a memory, but yeah, I put it on there. You work with older PLC 5 any? I don't, mate. No, I don't really do much with Alan Bradley. What else can we chuck in here just for the sake of showing it? Timer on. Just a standard timer. I wonder if I can just take that from there. I can. That's pretty good. Give it a time setting. So I don't know if anyone uses the IEC settings, but it's T hash hash 5S. T hash 5S. I think that should work. And that could do my yellow lamp, I would say. This is all messy, but it kind of shows you how the software works. Rashed Automation, thank you, buddy. I hope you're well today, mate. Is it Rashed? I always I always doubt myself when I say your name. I hope I'm saying it right. How are you doing tonight, buddy? Yes, and course is fully free. You just need to complete them. Oh, the ignition courses. Yes, I have also heard of those being pretty good as well. Thank you for sharing that, though, mate. I do appreciate it, because I do get told these things in other lives and then soon forget about them, but I definitely want to have a look at that. Analog are just in a lot of PLC integer. Is this in relation to the 4 to 20 thing? Yeah, so if you have a 4 to 20 milliamp input on a PLC, it depends on your software. So that 4 milliamps will represent 0. It could represent 4,000, because I know in Schneider it does. In a M221, 4 milliamp represents the number 4,000, and 20 milliamp represents the number 20,000. Now, those numbers don't really mean anything to you at all, really. I guess in the case of Schneider, it works out quite well. 4,000 is 4 milliamp, 20,000 is 20 milliamp. But 9 times out of 10, you don't really care what the milliamp is. You want to know what the minimum and maximum of your sensor is. So if you're sensing temperature, you want to know it's 0 to 100 degrees C, or 0 to 1,000 degrees C, or minus 100 to 250 degrees C. So you need to do a calculation in your PLC, a scaling calculation. A lot of PLCs do have that like parameterized, so you don't have to actually put it in the code. It's always a good idea to put it in the code, though, because then it means you can change it via HMI. You can change the scaling at will. If you replace a sensor for a different type, it's easy enough to just change the scaling through a HMI. Thank you, Rashid. I really appreciate it, mate. It's good to see you again. Yeah, I joined yours. Unfortunately, I don't speak your language, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that, brother. Yeah, to go back to the scaling thing, I prefer to scale using a calculation, so I would always just use, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I have got videos about it. I just use the same calculation each time, just with different input, different, what's the word? You know, if it's a temperature, it might be minus 50 to plus 250. If it's a pressure, it might be 0 to 10 bar. If it's, I don't know, it could be anything. You know, sensors could do anything. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, calculations will scale it for your body. Emmanuel, thank you for the follow. USMR Blue, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it, guys. They mapped the most significant bit of the ADC to the most significant bit of the register. So you read a 32-bit register whatever resolution your ADC is, 10, 12 or 16-bit. Oh, you kind of explain it. Yeah. Scale factor. I did a video where I showed the formula that I use. I've got it, I've got it saved on a file somewhere. So whenever I need to look up what the scaling formula is, I just go and look at it. I should probably know it by memory, but my memory is not that good. I have a terrible memory. So most things, if I need to remember something, I'll just write it down and save it somewhere. Auto intelligence, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Let me program this in, see if it fires up this yellow LED. I don't have any sessions on Delta V, mate. No, I don't work with Delta V Emerson DCSs. Right, okay, so let's get this live debugging. Connect that. Put it into view mode. Probably I have to hold the green button in just because of the way I programmed it. So hold that green button in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And although it's supposed to be the yellow LED, my red LED's come on. Maybe that explains why my red LED wasn't coming on earlier. The mapping's not quite right. So I let go of my green button, that goes off again. But you can see the counter's still working, still doing its thing. I mean, this program's total garbage, but yeah, I'm proving a point that, you can do this sort of stuff for free almost. That Arduino Uno cost barely anything. I think I probably paid like £2 for it, which is like, I don't know, $3 or just over €2. They're so cheap off AliExpress. You can usually set the scale values in the configuration. It's all abstract. You can, but and that is definitely the easier way. However, if you ever change that sensor out, so if the maintenance guy, came in, swapped the sensor out, it wasn't quite the same, you're gonna need someone who can work with PLCs to then rescale that. But if you did it for a calculation, you can put all the important variables on a HMI, and you can then change the sensor out. Go to the HMI, rescale it just with the the new settings. So rather than it be -50 to 150, it might be -50 to 200. You just go and put -50 in, you put 200 in, and then you don't need anyone. For a maintenance guy, he doesn't have to go and call someone who knows about PLCs and that sort of thing. Naeem, I think. I'm not sure. Thank you for the follow, mate. I really appreciate it. Naeem, I think. Donovan Jackson, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Is it possible to add LCD and program it on Arduino? That's a good question. Let's have a look, because in fact, before we have a look, I'll just shut that down because it'll end up crashing if I don't. Over here, there's function blocks, but there's one specifically for Arduinos. There's a DS18B20 block, which is for temperature. It's a temperature sensor. There's some more for the same one. That's a temperature sensor. Arduino Cloud. I've never used Arduino Cloud, but maybe you can do some dashboards or something with that. PWM controller, so you can do some PWM signals. CAN, so you can do maybe some CAN bus stuff. That's it for Arduino, but there are others. STM32 stuff. CAN bus again, I think. Sequent Microsystems, I've not heard of them, not sure what that is. But there's an absolute stack of different function blocks you can use. Whether you can actually do the the serial, is it SPI that you use for the little displays that go on them, the little shields and stuff? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Yeah, not sure, buddy. Divan, thank you for the follow, really appreciate that. Colgad, thank you for the follow, really appreciate that. Arduino Cloud is a pain on the Finder Opta bricked mine. Did it really? No way. Because them things aren't cheap, you know. Well, you do know you own one, but yeah, the Optas aren't the most cheapest of controllers. I think they're in the range of an S7 1200 almost. Advantage of 420 is that the sensor can be powered through the loop and does not require its own power supply. That's true. Yeah, that's true. If you get a loop powered sensor and you have a loop powered a device that's, I guess all 420s are capable of providing it. But if you've got a sensor that can be loop powered, then yeah, it's spot on. The other advantage of 420 is if because the minimum is 4. If you cut through a wire or something, you can pick that up. You know that's happened because that 4 milliamps goes to 0. Oh, Ash warned you, did he? Oh no. Yeah, I've not used the Optas yet. I don't feel like I would either, to be fair. I feel like I'd probably always choose a logo over it. And if I didn't use a logo, I'd maybe use an S7. And if I didn't use an S7, I might use, a Schneider equivalent, an M221. And if I didn't use one of them, I might use an M241. And if I didn't use one of them, I'd use, I'd find, I can feel like I have like 10 controllers before I'd even consider an Arduino Opta, just personally. But if you got it free, then that's fine. They're obviously trying to sell them, but yeah, I wouldn't choose one personally. That's not to say they're good or nothing. Like I say, I've never used them. They might be really, really good. But I know what logos are capable of. I know what S7s are capable of. S7s are very expensive. You go with a 221. They can be. I think is it the S7 1200 11? Is it? Or maybe the 12? I don't know. Whichever the bottom one is. They're not as expensive as you might think. But yeah, the 221's great. I love that controller because it's so cheap and it can do so much. And the software's free. If you want to learn PLC programming on a Schneider M2 TM221, like CE16T or whatever, if you want to learn on them, the software's free. Yeah, 1211. That's it. Yeah. I don't think they're all that expensive, especially if you have you work for a company that gets decent discounts. You'll be surprised how close it is in price to like a logo and stuff like that. Micro 800. I've never used a Micro 800, to be fair, Jean-Paul. I don't really do much with Alan Bradley, but I have seen them. I feel like they were still pretty expensive though. I could be wrong. Current loop is better than voltage. You don't have loss of signal with length. No, that's right. Yeah, you don't. Or at least it's not as bad. Obviously, there's probably a limit to that. I don't know what the limit is on 4 to 20. It probably varies with like the cable size and stuff, but I imagine there is a limit. S7 is free for like 30 days. Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure. I have the licenses for S7 for Tia Portal. Mainly IQRs for myself. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Dan. Mitsubishi is that's my number one go-to. I try to use an FX as far as I can because they're great. IQRs, there's a little bit more to do to set them up, but yeah, they're just good. Big fan of GX3. Yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, me too. Don't like GX Developer though. That is rubbish. Is there anything else I want to show here? I feel like I've not shown enough. I feel like I've just talked this entire time. Kali, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Did you work in instrumentation? No, so I was a test engineer before I became a design engineer, which I am now. I did my apprenticeship, a 5-year apprenticeship, then became a test engineer, testing generator control panels, industrial battery chargers, and UPS systems. And then I went into design as a design engineer, designing generator control panels and mains control panels, anything related to power generation really. And that's kind of where I am today. IQF, good improvement from... Yeah, I agree, Dan. Yeah, the IQFs are great. I do really like them. They're very capable. You're like surprisingly very powerful for, what they're supposed to be the lower end of the Mitsubishi stuff. IQR's the top. IQF's supposed to be, I guess the low. I guess it's middle because they've got like alpha controllers and they've got the 5US. I've never used a 5US actually, but yeah, Mitsubishi controllers these days are really good. They're not used enough, to be fair. They're not very popular. The limit is resistance of cable and device need. Yeah, that's it. I guess it varies, doesn't it? S7 is really good software. See, the thing with Tier Portal, I don't know if it's just me or what, but I find it very slow. It's very slow in comparison to something like GX Works by Mitsubishi, or even Machine Expert. Yeah, it just feels very heavy. Mark Jones, thank you for follow. Really appreciate that. Let's put this back into view mode. You're doing your HNC in instrumentation, but I'm fascinated with control system, PLC side of things. Yeah, see, I'm with you on that, Harry. That's the bit I find really interesting. Sensors aside and all that sort of thing, and yeah, it's all right. You know, it's relatively interesting, but the PLC and the programming side, the load, the logic and the code that people come up with, that's all the bits that really interest me in that side of things. You need a job, graduated a year ago. What sort of work do you do, Romeo? Too many licenses. What's that for? Tier Portal, do you mean? Yeah, well, that's the other thing with Mitsubishi is you get IQ Works, and that one license covers VFDs, it covers the PLCs, it covers the HMI. You know, one license that isn't even that crazy expensive either. I think it's £1,000 or less. I know there's certain companies, distributors that were giving you the software free with a HMI that costs like £500. Brian, thank you for the follow. Harry, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that, guys. What do we think about Profinet devices? Yeah, I mean, it works. Profinet, Profibus. They're great protocols. Modbus, RTU and TCP, great protocols. Love them as well. Haven't really done much with EtherCAT, which seems to be a up-and-coming protocol, I guess. I think Beckhoff have used it for quite a while, but I see a lot of other manufacturers and they're starting to get into it. Excuse me. Firmware as well with Tier is just a headache. I've not really come across that, but I don't use Siemens all that much, to be fair. Find the Schneider Smart Relay really helpful for smaller logic processes. Yeah, I really like the Zelios. I think they're great. I've done plenty of little automation panels that could be hardwired with relays and timers and that sort of thing, but it's just easier to chuck in a logo. And not a logo, sorry, a Zelio. I mean, you could use a logo as well. I've used plenty of them, but the Zelios, yeah, they're just... If you have a small task that needs a few timers, a few counters, or, you know, a ton of relays or something, hardwired logic, you can replace all of that with a Zelio. They're so good. And they're cheap as well. Have you worked with TwinCat? Nah, not really, mate. I had a day's training with the TwinCat, you know, a Beckhoff engineer, but I've never really used them. Best way to get a legit PLC software is to blag reps and say you're looking to move. Yeah, you're right about that, the engineer. You are right. If you just like dangle a carrot in front of them, they a lot of the time they will sort you out with stuff that, you know, you wouldn't think you'd get otherwise. They will hand out. Oh, you know, if you're looking to bring all your automation controllers over to this brand, I'll give you the software for free and that sort of thing. Yeah. Definitely a lot easier on HVAC for a Zelio. All the pump run and changeover, etc. Yeah. I've done plenty of stuff like that. Fuel control and that sort of thing with a Zelio. Fuel transfer and stuff like that. You know, that's my equivalent of what you're talking about. With like changeovers and running pumps and that sort of thing. They're awesome for stuff like that. Yeah, they're really, really good. And I find... So I'm a ladder logic guy. That's my preference. I use them all, but I tend to use ladder most out of all of them. But the function block editor in Zelio is awesome. Is really, really good. Hey, would you recommend to use a 24 volt DC UPS for redundant power or for controls, or a 230 volt AC UPS? I'd always go DC. Yeah, Lucas, I always DC, so I always chuck batteries in there, or like you say, a UPS, a DC UPS, which I guess is just batteries with a a charger and stuff. That's how I tend to go about it. I avoid the UPSs, not for any reason other than UPSs are they're very complicated devices. A lot in a UPS. There's a whole lot of circuitry in them. There's so much to go wrong. That's the problem. Whereas with DC, it's a couple of batteries, a battery charger that costs like less than £100. So if that if that failed, it's just a quick swap. If you want if you want multiple sources of DC supply, you just use some power diodes. It just makes life easier, and it's, in my mind, simpler and therefore less prone to error, in my opinion. Do you prefer ladder with them or the FBD? No, with Zelios I do prefer the FBD. The ladder's okay. Zelio software is free, mate. Yes. I did a couple of live streams about it a few weeks ago. Maybe we can take a look at that for the last sort of portion of this live stream. That's an SR3. Just go through this up. So you can do ladder. Unfortunately I can't extend this while this little box is up, but I can show you there. You can either do ladder or you can do function block diagram. The function block diagram is really good. So let me make sure you guys can see everything there. So the good thing about this software as well is you can simulate. You don't need the hardware. So the software is free and you can simulate. So you can have a play with this. So if I bring some inputs in, you can change the icon on the inputs. Excuse me, I'm getting like a dry throat now. I've been speaking too much. Yeah, it's a little bit slow. You're right, Besotted Carpo. It is a little bit slow. I can make that one look like a contact. This one, I don't know, look like a I-beam. Then I can chuck in. So unfortunately it's right behind my camera, so I can't really see. You can start adding like logic blocks in and just drag and drop the lines. I guess similarly to how OpenPLC was just doing it a minute ago. I mean, this program isn't going to make any sense whatsoever, but let's take that one up there. But I'm just going to quickly fire a program together just so you can see. Let's have a timer in there. You guys can see that okay? Yeah. Set up the timer. Like they're so easy to use in my opinion. So I want like a 3-second timer there. There's literally no setup really. Oh, they've even got a PID. I don't know if you guys can see that right at the bottom of the screen. I'm looking for the out. It's easier to look in the TikTok replay to see it than it is to try and look behind the camera. Let's chuck a couple of them in. A couple of outputs. I can make one look like, I don't know, a motor. And this just helps make your program easier to read as well. So one's a lamp, one's a motor. Let's send that to the lamp. Let's add a little bit more logic in. Let's have... What should we have? What should we add? Maybe just add a NOT gate on there, which then goes to a NAND gate up here. Like I say, this is not really going to make any sense, but you can see how you can just chuck logic together and there's like function blocks too. And also you can actually highlight all of that and put all that into a macro so you can start tidying up your circuit. So, because sometimes it can look like spaghetti code. That's fine. Let's put that into run. So now I can click the inputs and you can see stuff happening. So you can like live simulate it. I find hard the safety device, safety relay and so on. I've got a couple of videos on safety relays, mate. You could have a look at those. Would love to see some vids from you on the CC link protocol. Do you know what? I've got a whole... I've had ideas of doing videos on CC link and Modbus as well. I just haven't got round to it. I just... I guess it's on me. Lack of motivation, lack of time. I'll get around to it eventually. Because I do want to do videos on that. Because I do find like communication protocols are interesting. Pleased to find a fellow Zelio fella. Got to shoot. Thank you, Besotti Carper. Thank you for the follow as well, by the way, if you're still in here. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you could all double tap the screen and share the live, you hold in the screen, it'll come up with a little box. There's a little button that says repost. It's yellow with a little arrow in it. If you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. Function block programming looks like LabVIEW programming. I don't know if I've used LabVIEW before. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just it's digital electronics, I guess. That lab. Yeah, I feel like I have used LabVIEW in digital electronics when I was at college. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Boolean's the best for duty, pump, run, trip, and changeover. Yeah, so with a Boolean one, you don't have to add in all of these discrete blocks. You can kind of let's see it. You can set up tables. You know, like a truth table. I haven't got any inputs wired to it, but it would open them up, and then I'd be able to click where a 1 is. Let me just quickly do that to show you what the so this block here basically combines a ton of these blocks, you know, the discrete logic blocks. So we could say if all of the inputs are false, we can make the output a 1. You know, if only input 2 is true, make the output a 1 as well. If 1, 2, and 3 are on, set a 1. You know, it's pretty... that'd save you a whole bunch of logic doing it with discrete components. Oh, you are still here. Yeah, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. You usually use a pulse for duty pumps on a pump station. Yeah, if I'm doing like a changeover, I'll definitely use a set reset somewhere, because I would use the true for one pump and the false for the other pump. That's kind of, you know, it's interlocked. Then you've got no way of them ever both being on if you have like a set reset. User and a load of numbers, thank you, I really appreciate that. Thank you for following. You did Modbus programming on Arduino with €4 extension IO. That's good to know, mate. That's good to know, because well, I mean, I've got PLCs. I'll probably just, when I come to do it, I'll just show it on them. What program is this? This actually is Zelio Soft 2. I was showing OpenPLC, but we've kind of moved on to this. It is a nice feature on Zelio. I like the demo. Truth table, for example, is nice. Yeah, it's pretty good, Toonby. This is for... they're not PLCs, they're smart relays, they're called. They're quite cheap. They're good for small-level automation tasks. You would never, like, control, like, a huge factory or anything with one of these. They're for small machines and that sort of thing. Some of the examples that Schneider give, you could automate your... driveway gate, you know, your gate on your house. You could automate your greenhouse, that sort of thing. I've personally used it for I've done plenty of fuel transfer panels, fuel pumping panels. I even did an agitator control panel, so a big tank, and there was, you know, the way to clean it and stuff with like a big paddle inside it, and also it let hot and cold water in and that sort of thing. Yeah, used it for that. what is a discrete component? When I say discrete component, I'm talking about discrete logic gates, like an OR gate there, or an AND gate there, or a NOT gate there, or a NAND gate. So, you know, these logic gates, I would call them discrete because you use lots of them to build up a circuit, whereas the Boolean would allow you to bypass a whole bunch of those with the logic you apply just from the truth table. I mean, I don't think they call it discrete components. They call it just logic blocks. But yeah, that's my my way of explaining it. I would call that a discrete component. You know, a discrete block, I guess. Whereas the Boolean combines you know, lots of blocks in to make whatever logic you want. There's also like a camshaft one. So you can create a table of, you know, switch positions and that sort of thing. So there's lots of outputs on the camshaft, and if you're in position 1, you'd say S2 and S5 are true. If you were in position 2, maybe S1, S3, S6 are true. If you're in position 3, maybe they're all off. 4, you know, you just build these up. They're pretty good. I've seen such smart relay in pharma industry for laminar flow controller. Yeah, there's stuff. I mean, I don't know exactly what a laminar flow controller is, but it's similar to like a logo. A logo, I would say, is arguably better because a logo has more communication options and that sort of thing. However, I think Siemens logo software looks old and a bit rubbish, a bit outdated. I much prefer the look of this software to what's it called? Logosoft. Yeah, Logosoft, that's it. You beautiful people, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Brian, thank you for the follow. Ancestor, thank you for the follow. Llama Plays, thank you for the follow. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to call it there, guys. I've been on nearly 2 hours now. I'm getting a sore throat. It's getting dry. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Endumis, thank you for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I've showed, this is Zeliosoft 2, this software, and the software I've showed most of the night is called OpenPLC. So they're 2 free softwares. It's a shame you can't program the logo with a tier as well. Yeah, it's a bit odd how they never did that, isn't it? But I guess that's their way of just charging more for tier. Yeah, that's probably how they get around it. Sell more logos by making it much cheaper / free, or, you know, sell more software by making them a little bit more expensive. Is there a Zelio with analog I/O? There is. I have an expansion card with I think it's 0 to 10 volt and 4 to 20. The actual controller itself, some of the inputs are 0 to 10 anyway. So yeah, there's plenty of expansion cards. You can get expansion cards for Modbus TCP or Modbus RTU. So yeah, there's some expansion options. The SR2s are called compact controllers. They can't be expanded. The SR3s are modular controllers, so they can be expanded. Yeah, worth having a look at, Toonby. Anyhow, thank you everyone for joining tonight. Thank you to everyone who's liked. Thank you to everyone who's shared. Thank you to everyone who's followed. And thank you definitely everyone who's gifted. The engineer, I appreciate you as always. Thank you, mate. And I'll probably see you on tomorrow, maybe. I'm thinking that's when I'm going to do it. We'll see. But yeah, catch you on the next one, guys.